First and foremost, I would like to thank Atlas for providing me a free review copy of Attack on Titan: Humanity in Chains. Honestly, if the game were not graciously given to me, I don't think I would have reviewed it. When I first heard about the title's release in Japan and the negative reviews that followed, I immediately lost all interest in the game. I didn't even think it would be localized for North America, but as you can see now, I was wrong about the English version being a reality. And after playing the game for about 15 hours, was I wrong to trust all of these review sites that claim the game is horrendous? Well, to be honest, I have very mixed opinions about Humanity in Chains. Upon booting up the game, you're greeted with two different modes, the story mode and the world mode. As always, let's begin with the story mode. And if you've watched Attack on Titan, there is nothing new here. From my understanding, the game just uses animations from the show as cutscenes, which comes across as really lazy. Although I love the animation in the show as a whole, I would have preferred that parts from the show were not just shoehorned in. In fact, the entire story just feels like it's there for the sake of having it. The Attack on Titan storyline works well, so I imagine the developers figured, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and just copy and pasted important events into the game. As for the narrative itself, it's like I said before, it works. You can choose from 5 different stories starring 5 different cast members, but they all, excluding one, revolve around the same premise. It's not the story of Sonic Adventure, where each character has their own sort of separate plot lines. Each character's stories tie in together. In the beginning, you're told that the Titans have forced humanity into a city protected by 3 walls, and over time, numerous Titans have infiltrated the city, breaching the outer walls in the process. Why they want to kill all of these humans is never explained in the game. There are so many questions that need to be answered here, and these holes in the plot only get accentuated as the story progresses. These mysteries are never answered, and while mystery can be a great plot device, I don't think that was the intention of all these questions I have. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but why can I kill a Titan with a critical hit to the nape, but not the throat? Anyways, the Titans are rapidly approaching, so the Special Navy SEALs of the city must go around and defeat them. And leading the corps is a young man named Eren, with his foster sister Mikasa, and friend Amina, and eventually Comrade Levi. In Eren's story, Eren has to battle Titans, and eventually discovers that he himself can transform into a Titan, for reasons, I guess. In a way, I guess this is the main story, as everything sort of revolves around what Eren is doing. For instance, the whole point of Mikasa's story is to protect Eren, and the same can be said for Amina's story. As for Levi's story, it's generally the same, but he doesn't start out with Eren. Spoiling anything else would be spoiling the entirety of Attack on Titan, so I'll refrain from doing that. I will say that the writing here is pretty good, but it's just straight from the show. The whole story mode just feels like a way to cash in on the Attack on Titan fanbase, and while I don't mind subtitles in anime, I would have preferred English voice acting. It works in the show, but in a video game it once again comes across as lazy. Not to mention, the story mode is incredibly short. I understand they didn't have much source material to work with to prolong the plot, but it is really lacking for a $40 game. I think Humanity in Chains suffers from being an adaptation of an anime show, as the series is still running and there really isn't much content out there to make a fully fledged game out of it. The same thing can be said for the gameplay. It seems really unpolished and rushed. See, the whole game is centered upon you killing Titans, and that's pretty much it. Sure, there are some opportunities to rescue downed soldiers or just to get to a checkpoint, but you can imagine all this gets fairly repetitive fairly fast. Fighting Titans has as much depth as a puddle. You take control of a human, for the most part, who is equipped with dual blades, a gun, and a gas canister that causes you to get thrust into the air and to swing around like Spider-Man. Each time you encounter a Titan, you can either casually jog over to it and spam the X button to attack its feet, or fly into the air using the Y button and the power of gas and try to defeat the Titan that way. While in the air, you can press X and be prompted with a simplistic QuickTime event if you want to get a critical strike. To further your damage output, you can rotate the control pad to do a spinning aerial attack. But really, if you get a critical strike with either and strike the Titan in the nape, it's bound to die. So in all actuality, whether or not you rotate your control pad doesn't matter. It's only that critical strike on the nape that matters. This makes the combat really shallow. With only one sure way of killing a Titan, the gameplay got monotonous quickly. The first 2 Titan kills make you feel like a complete badass, but then that satisfaction gets almost immediately taken away. You kill Titans only because the game tells you to. There is no reward for doing any of it, except progressing in the story. It sort of lessens the feeling of being engaged in a fight between man and giants. Then there are the abundant problems with the gameplay. For one, the camera is absolutely wretched. Moving it around with the D-pad feels clunky at all times, and putting the camera in back of you with L feels remarkably slow. For a third-person action game, regardless of the system, a good camera is paramount for combat. I haven't gotten around to playing the game on the new 3DS, so maybe the problem is fixed there, but on the original 3DS it could not be more imprecise. Then there's the fact that half of the time, the QuickTime events don't even work. So, as you can see on screen, a thick red circle appears and you have to land your reticle inside it to get a critical attack. Sounds simple and easy, right? I mean, how could they mess up something as simple as pressing a button when a circle is inside another circle? Well, somehow they did. Sometimes the reticle will just suddenly speed up, causing you to fail the QTE. Not only is the QTE system buggy, it also causes the combat to get even more repetitive. This also leads to another problem, the game's difficulty, and it remains at a stagnant, easy as cake level throughout. Once you get the whole QuickTime event minigame down, you can destroy any Titan you come across with little to no effort. At the beginning of the game, you're told that these things are unstoppable man-killers, but I seem to be doing a fine job of making short work of them. If I'm given no challenge, then what's the point of even replaying the game? Of course, then there are the Titan sections, where the gameplay can be summed up by spamming the X button over and over and over. It's tedious and not entertaining in the slightest. That's about everything the story mode has to offer, so let's move on to the world mode. Here, the developers actually added something unique. Anyways, in this mode, you can embark on several missions to get money and various rewards. You actually get something for murdering Titans and running errands this time. Plus, there is some added multiplayer where up to 3 friends can help you on missions. This mode is really just a series of challenges that yield no reward but making your own character stronger. But the multiplayer is fun for some time, then gets really boring once again. It's a common trend throughout the whole Humanity in Chains experience. Everything is just so drab and repetitive. Not even this mode can redeem the game from being not rewarding and not fun. So overall, Attack on Titan Humanity in Chains is not a good game. The only thing remotely decent about this title is the presentation, and that isn't even that great. Some visuals look really muddy, but all in all, the graphics are fine. There's also a bit of variety to the backgrounds and world, which is nice to see. It's just the Titans look oddly goofy and kind of disgusting. They look so abnormal and creepy, and sure, that's sort of the intention, but I don't remember the Titans looking this terrible in the show. But of course, the music is really catchy, and the main theme, as always, sounds spectacular. With all this being said, I would advise you not to purchase this game for $40. Don't even buy this one at all, unless you're a die-hard Attack on Titan fan. If the latter is the case, wait for a sale of about $20 or less. There is virtually no replayability, and the combat gets repetitive in a matter of less than 2 hours. And while the story works, it feels lazily implemented. Oh, and did I mention the game is incredibly short? The story only lasts for like 5 hours, which gives me even more reason not to recommend the game at retail price. So if I had to give Attack on Titan Humanity in Chains a score, I would give it a 5 out of 10. But as always, if you disagree or agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for watching and take care. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.